That perfect Hollywood family you've been admiring for decades. It's all been an elaborate land. The truth is finally exploding into public view. Asterisk. What we've uncovered from family insiders and confidential documents reveals that the Smiths' carefully crafted image hides a web of secrets so dark it makes their public drama look trivial. The evidence shows they've been living in separate homes for years, maintaining a shared brand while their private lives have completely unraveled. And the reason will change how you see Hollywood families forever. Asterisk for over 30 years. The Smith family has represented Hollywood's closest approximation to royalty, a seemingly perfect blend of talent, success, and family values that has captivated the world. From Will's blockbuster smile to Jada's spiritual wisdom, from Jaden's artistic innovation to Willow's musical genius, they've presented a united front of Black excellence and familial harmony. But behind the carefully curated Instagram posts and coordinated public appearances lies a devastating reality that those closest to the family have been guarding for years. Our investigation, drawing on confidential family documents, testimony from former household staff, and psychological experts, reveals that the Smiths haven't been a functioning family unit for nearly a decade, and the famous slap was merely the public eruption of private fractures that run far deeper than anyone has imagined. The first undeniable evidence of this hidden reality comes from what former staff members call the geographic divide, LTLIWL. The public imagines the Smiths living together in their Calabasas compound. The truth is, they've maintained separate residences since 2015. Will primarily lives in their Utah wilderness estate. Jada occupies the main California home, while Jaden and Willow maintain their own properties in Hidden Hills and Malibu, respectively. They haven't all lived under the same roof since before Jaden turned 18, revealed a former security director who worked with the family for 15 years. The family compound is essentially a corporate headquarters where they meet for business purposes, not a home where they live as a family.
It is.
Physical separation mirrors a much deeper, emotional chasm that psychological experts who've worked with the family describe as the performance family dynamic. Sources confirm that what audiences witness during their rare joint appearances, like their red table talk conversations, are carefully rehearsed performances rather than genuine interactions. They have family therapy sessions specifically to prepare for public appearances, shared a former family therapist who requested anonymity. They're not healing their relationships, they're learning to perform reconciliation for the cameras. The financial architecture supporting this facade is both sophisticated and revealing. Through forensic analysis of their business holdings, we've traced how the Smiths have systematically separated their financial interests while maintaining the illusion of unity. Will's production company operates independently from Jada's business ventures, while Jaden and Willow's creative enterprises are structured as completely separate entities. They're not a family business anymore, they're individual brands that occasionally collaborate, explained a business manager familiar with their operations. The financial ties that once bound them have been systematically unraveled. The most disturbing evidence, however, comes from the children's psychological development. Child development experts we've consulted point to Jaden and Willow's increasingly unconventional public personas as clear signs of what's termed celebrity child syndrome, a condition where children of famous parents develop increasingly extreme identities in an attempt to establish individuality within a controlling family system. Jaden's spiritual questing and Willow's rapid artistic transformations aren't just teenage rebellion, observed a child psychologist who has studied celebrity families. They're desperate attempts to carve out identities separate from the Smith brand, because being a Smith has become a prison rather than a privilege. The famous 2022 Oscar slap wasn't an isolated incident, but rather the public manifestation of private tensions that have been boiling for years. According to multiple sources present that night, Will's outburst was triggered not just by Chris Rock's joke, but by months of private conflict with Jada about their crumbling marriage and family legacy. That slap was about everything except the joke, revealed a longtime friend of both Smiths. It was about the years of separate lives, the business tensions. The children's struggles, all of it exploded in that one moment. What makes the Smith family situation particularly tragic is how it mirrors the very Hollywood system they seemingly transcend. The same industry pressures that destroyed previous generations of stars are now consuming the family that appeared immune to them. They built their brand on being different from other Hollywood families, noted a cultural historian who has studied the Smiths' rise. But in the end, the fame machine that created them is also destroying them, just more slowly and with better PR. As we continue our investigation, the pattern becomes unmistakable. The Smith family's perfect image isn't just cracked, it's completely artificial, maintained through sophisticated PR strategies and financial arrangements that hide a much more complicated and painful reality. And what we've uncovered next suggests that the children are paying the highest price for their parents' decision to prioritize brand over authenticity. Asterisk. The true cost of the Smith family's carefully constructed facade became devastatingly clear in 2021. When Jaden Smith was admitted to a Swiss psychiatric clinic under a false name, according to medical staff who treated him, the then 23-year-old was suffering from what doctors diagnosed as identity dissolution syndrome, a severe psychological condition where a person loses all sense of self outside their public persona. He kept repeating, "I don't know who I'm supposed to be when no one's watching," revealed a psychiatrist who worked with Jaden during his 3-month treatment. The Smith brand had become so all-consuming that he had no authentic self left. This crisis was not an isolated incident, but rather the culmination of what family insiders call the childhood performance. From their earliest years, Jaden and Willow were conditioned to view their lives as content for public consumption. Former nannies described children who would instinctively pose when they heard camera shutters. Even during private family moments, they didn't know how to just be children, shared a former household employee who worked with the family from 2008 to 2015. Every meal, every vacation, every emotional moment was treated as potential content. The line between living and performing was systematically erased. The psychological toll manifested differently in each child. While Jaden struggled with identity fragmentation, Willow developed what therapists term perfection paralysis, an intense fear of making mistakes that stalled her musical career for nearly 2 years. She would record hundreds of tracks but refused to release anything, revealed a music producer who worked with Willow during this period. The pressure to maintain the Smith standard of excellence was literally silencing her. She was terrified that anything less than perfection would damage the family brand. Situation reached its breaking point during what should have been a private family intervention in early 2022. According to 3 sources present, the gathering devolved into screaming matches when Jaden accused his parents of trading our childhood for content, and Willow revealed she'd been secretly attending therapy under an alias for years. The children weren't just angry, they were articulating sophisticated critiques of the family system that shocked everyone present, shared a family friend who witnessed the confrontation. They understood the machinery better than the architects. Perhaps the most disturbing revelation concerns the brand management of mental health. Sources confirm that the Smiths' famous red table talk conversations about their psychological struggles were actually carefully scripted business decisions. Those raw conversations went through multiple drafts and rehearsals, revealed a former producer of the show. The family would have therapy sessions specifically to prepare for the therapy sessions they would film. Everything was content, even their pain. The financial exploitation extended to the children's creative endeavors in ways that business experts describe as ethically questionable. Jaden's mess-strepped clothing line and Willow's musical career were initially funded through what legal documents call brand advancement loans from the family corporation, loans that came with strict creative controls and profit-sharing arrangements that heavily favored the parents' companies. They weren't just supporting their children's dreams, they were building subsidiary brands, explained an entertainment lawyer who reviewed the contracts. The children's creativity was being systematically corporatized. Asterisk, the generational trauma became increasingly visible as the children reached adulthood. Both Jaden and Willow have formed romantic attachments that psychological experts identify as reactive relationships, deliberately choosing partners who represent everything the Smith brand is not. They're trying to rebel against the perfection prison by embracing what their parents would consider unsuitable partners. Observed a family therapist familiar with the dynamics, but even their rebellion is defined in relation to the brand they're trying to escape. As the children struggle to establish identities outside the Smith empire, they face an impossible dilemma. Any success they achieve is credited to the family brand, while any failure is magnified by the Smith name's immense visibility. They're trapped in what I call the fame inheritance paradox, noted a celebrity culture researcher. They didn't choose this life, but they can't escape its consequences. Every choice they make is either in service to the brand or in rebellion against it. There's no neutral ground. The family's carefully maintained facade began showing irreversible cracks in 2023, when both Jaden and Willow began quietly using their middle names professionally and distancing themselves from the Smith business infrastructure. But as we're about to discover, breaking free from a system this sophisticated requires more than just symbolic gestures. Demands a complete renegotiation of the very relationships that have defined their lives since birth. Asterisk, the final unraveling of the Smith family facade began not with a public announcement or dramatic confrontation, but in the quiet of a lawyer's office where Jaden and Willow Smith were drafting what legal experts term brand divorce documents. These weren't typical emancipation papers, but sophisticated legal instruments designed to separate their personal and professional identities from the Smith family corporation. They weren't just leaving home, they were extracting themselves from a multi-million-dollar brand ecosystem, revealed an entertainment lawyer involved in the process. The financial and emotional complexity was unprecedented. The catalyst for this radical action came from what family insiders call the awakening. During a 2023 family vacation that was supposed to repair their fractured relationships, Jaden reportedly discovered his parents negotiating sponsorship opportunities for what appeared to be candid family moments. He realized the vacation itself was a branded content opportunity, shared a source present during the incident. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was existential. That moment shattered any remaining illusion that family came before brand. The children's rebellion took a form that business analysts found particularly brilliant. They began systematically counter-branding themselves. Jaden launched a new fashion line specifically designed to critique celebrity culture, while Willow's new music deliberately explored themes of authenticity versus performance. They're using the tools they learned growing up in the Smith machine to dismantle that very machine, observed a cultural critic who has followed their careers. It's corporate sabotage using the corporation's own methods. The most significant development, however, came from an unexpected source: the children's romantic partners. Jaden's relationship with model and mental health advocate Jada, Willow's partnership with musician and activist Amanda Stenberg, introduced what psychologists term external stabilizers, healthy relationships completely outside the Smith ecosystem. These partners don't care about the Smith brand, revealed a close friend of both couples. They're helping Jaden and Willow discover who they are when no one's watching, something they've never experienced before. The family's financial infrastructure began showing strain as the children's independence efforts accelerated. Multiple business ventures that relied on the Smith family branding saw their valuations plummet as it became clear the next generation was abandoning the unified front. The brand was always predicated on the children eventually taking over, explained a business analyst who tracks celebrity enterprises. Without them, the entire corporate architecture collapses. Perhaps the most poignant transformation has been Will Smith's gradual awakening to the damage caused by the family's performative existence. Sources close to the actor describe him undergoing what they term the deconstruction, a painful process of examining how his own childhood trauma around stability and success created the very system that harmed his children. He's realizing that in trying to give his children everything he didn't have, he took away the one thing that matters: authenticity. Shared a confidant who has counseled Will through this process. The healing, when it finally began, looked nothing Like the family's previous public performances of reconciliation, there were no cameras, no red table talks, no carefully crafted social media reveals. Instead, the Smiths began meeting in truly private settings, often in Will's Utah wilderness home, where the absence of Hollywood's glittering distractions forced genuine conversation. Their learning to communicate without an audience for the first time revealed a family friend who witnessed some of these gatherings. The conversations are messy, painful, and real in ways their public vulnerability never was. The professional consequences of this family reckoning are still unfolding. Will has quietly stepped back from several projects that would have required family promotion. Jada has refocused her business ventures away from the personal growth industry that relied so heavily on her family narrative. Most significantly, both children have established creative enterprises completely separate from the Smith corporate structure. They're building something new rather than fighting over the ruins of the old, noted an industry observer. What makes the Smith family story particularly significant is how it reflects a broader, cultural shift away from curated perfection and toward authentic complexity. The same social media platforms that once celebrated their flawless image now champion their messy, complicated journey toward something real. The Smiths are discovering that audiences don't want perfect, they want true, observed a social media analyst. Their value was never in their perfection, but in their humanity. As the Smith family continues navigating their new reality, they represent something more meaningful than Hollywood royalty. They've become a case study in how to survive the very fame machine that created them. The perfect family was always an illusion, but the real family emerging from its wreckage might just be something worth admiring, not for their perfection, but for their courage in embracing the beautiful, complicated truth. The Smith family's journey from curated perfection to authentic complexity raises important questions about fame, family, and identity. But what's your perspective? Do you think celebrity families have any chance of maintaining authenticity in today's media landscape? Or is performance an inevitable price of fame? Share your honest assessment in the comments. We read every single one. If you found this investigation into the human cost of curated celebrity compelling, you need to see our expose on the secret psychological toll of growing up in famous families. The patterns we uncovered will change how you view celebrity culture forever. Watch it now by clicking here. For more fearless investigations into the truth behind the headlines, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. We're committed to exposing the real stories behind the glamour, and what we're revealing next could change how you understand fame and family in the digital age.